you have built a successful marketing career for yourself. And as a seasoned professional and a coach, what advice do you have for people in today's world? If you look at it, right, we are all so confused and we are all spoiled with choices, if I call it, right? With AI coming in, with chat GPT type of things coming in, what is the value of what is being taught in schools? Because assignments can happen just by asking the question and can probably be done better than somebody who was topping the exams earlier. So in this scenario where students are more confused than ever, uh, what is your advice to them? How should they go about this whole learning situation in their life?
Yeah, sure. Again, leading on some of my experience and how I kind of built and nurtured my career, I'm happy to share. So the current times are of very accelerated technology changes, and the demands on the skills are really abrupt and then changing in dynamics. So today you talk about Gen AI, and tomorrow it could be something else. We just don't have much control over these things. So it is very difficult for me, or for that matter, anyone to say that, hey, you learn generative AI or you learn AI, and then your career is set. I doubt whether somebody will stick his neck out and then say that and then live to see that. So my motto personally for me, as well as what I would suggest to all these professions, and we talked about the people who I mentor, young professionals, not just the founders, but also young professionals, is to be on a path of continuous learning. There is no escape from that. So when I started my career more than 20 years back, digital marketing was at pretty nascent stages. And we never had anything substantial on digital marketing in our course curriculum. Now, if I had come out of that and then told myself that, hey, I've learned some good stuff from this reputed institute and I will sit on the laurels, I will not learn anything else, I would have been obsolete. I would not be speaking to you right at this point in time.
Yeah.
So if there is something which I want people to carry from the conversation, is to be a continuous learner. Now, how can continuous learning happen? Is by basically building some things which I call as like what I call as meta skills, the skills that will help you build the skills. The skills that will help you build and understand technologies like a generative AI or digital marketing or social media marketing or any change of it there are some basic skills. There are quite a few skills, but I will probably concentrate on like probably 2 or 3 of them. One is curiosity. Not just as a marketer, you as a human should be generally curious. And I think when you're curious, you ask the right questions, you find the dots. And then you find chances to connect that dots. And that is how you become a very, very good marketer, very good human, also a very good professional. So be curious, ask questions, don't be ashamed to ask questions. Unfortunately, especially in India, our education system does its own harm in making us non-curious over a period of year. Every child, when they are born and when they can speak, they are very curious. They ask questions, like 100 questions. The parents are troubled by lot of these questions. But in schools, we are trained not to ask questions. So if we ask questions, the guys say, hey, why is Sanjay asking this idiotic question? And then you are branded, and then that's the last time you're going to ask this question. And the teachers also many a times make fun of that particular student in front of the class. And that's the last question the person is asking. So you have to come out of that somewhere, go against that and be curious, like a small child in your professional life. And I still do that. I'm curious about everything, not just for marketing, curious about everything which is happening. So if I had not been curious about psychology, which now I consider a very adjacent field for marketing, and economics, I would not have picked up some of these things, which now I am applying in my personal life as well as professional life. So curiosity to start with. I think when you're curious, I think you become more empathetic. Because if I'm curious to understand you, Prasant, I ask this question, I understand your point of view much, much better. I become very empathetic. And empathy is another skill which I want to underline as a meta skill. And empathy is not about, I would say, being empathetic in a very in a situation where you are going through some bad times. I mean, that's probably the understood meaning of being empathetic. But I'm talking about understanding your point of view, understanding the customer point of view, being in the shoes of the customer to understand, hey, if he comes to the web page, my web page, what is he feeling or what is she feeling? If she is coming to my registration desk at an event, is she getting lost? Now, so that kind of helps me build the communications in a right way, in a coherent way. And you will never ever then make 1 hour webinars, because you personally cannot sit through that 1 hour webinar, but you think that your customer will sit through. So that means you are not understanding the customer. So empathy is the next one. And the third one is about critical thinking. So once you are curious and once you see these dots happening everywhere, okay, why cannot that psychology stuff not apply in marketing? You start critically analyzing a lot of the scenarios, and you will see these connections, and you will build better, I would say, better strategies, better campaigns. And I'm talking about a marketer. The challenge with logic in many cases, for example, we talked a lot about data is logic, and I consider myself a very data-driven marketer. In the last couple of years, I understood how emotions also will help. So now the challenge with logic, at least in many cases, is that when you apply logic and then derive your strategies, you probably are getting as good as your competitor or slightly better, which the competitor will also catch because he's also applying that logic. That is when you apply some of these mindset as a marketer. When I say mindset as a marketer, marketing is not just about campaigns and communications. So you develop that mindset as a marketer who is passionate about the customer, understanding what the customer needs, wants, and then trying to help your organization address those. That's a mindset. It's not just running campaigns, measure those campaigns, and then doing those communications. So marketing is a mindset rather than a function in the organization. So for that, you need to be curious, you need to be empathetic, and you need to be critically thinking every day at every moment. And then you probably build a better career. And then these meta skills will help you learn. These meta skills will help you learn anything that comes on your way. You are not worried about what's going to happen 3 years hence, what's going to happen 5 years hence. You can be assured that you will be able to pick up whatever is thrown at you. I hope that made sense.
Absolutely, that does make a lot of sense. In fact, I was talking to one of the person recently, Dr. Anil Kaul. She's a chief AI officer at Infogain, and he talks about mental models and problem solving, and how those things are going to stay relevant. They were relevant probably many years ago, and they're relevant today. And what you're saying is pretty much in these similar lines, that you really need to build that critical thinking with empathy and curiosity. So kind of balance your left brain and right brain, right?
Absolutely.
To be able to have a success that is sustainable for a longer run. Great conversation, Sanjay. It was lovely talking to you, and really appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Sure. Thanks, Prasant.